proper introduction, Jason Jones of The Athletic in the J Street Vibes podcast. The clip that you walked in there, Jay, was Mike Brown last night in the post-game press conference talking about 42, the amount of points that the Sacramento Kings gave up in the paint to the Orlando Magic. Obviously, a far cry from the 78 that they gave up against them in Orlando and the 70 that they gave up against your Los Angeles Lakers on Saturday. I'm sure you watch both of these games. What particularly we go back to Saturday here for a minute. Just watching Thomas Bryant just at will score on the Sacramento Kings as that game is developing. What are you thinking watching that?
Are they going to like do something different? Are they going to at least put a hand in his face? You know, you're just going to let this guy do what he wants to you? I mean, he's jumping up, taking rebounds from people, flying around, keeping possession. I'm like, I guess they're just going to, maybe Thomas Bryant will become one of those guys who has his game whenever he sees Sacramento now. Because, I mean, they sure didn't try to stop him. And it was, I didn't know if that was Thomas Bryant, Akeem Olajuwon. I didn't know who I was watching at different times.
Thomas Wilt Bryant.
I mean, that guy was a Hall of Famer I saw. I mean, they don't need AD back if they got Thomas Bryant against the Kings.
But, they were able to rebound from that.
Yeah.
And play well on Monday night. I know everybody will say it's just the Orlando Magic. Hey, man, all the wins count the same.
It took a buzzer beater to beat Orlando the first time.
all the wins count the same, man. And they did what they were supposed to do, in my opinion, Jason, against a team like Orlando. If the Kings are a good team, right? You handle business against Orlando at home, which is what I'm expecting for the next two games as well. Even though you got talent on Houston, you should be able to handle business. So last night, they took care of business, and I'm not going to downplay that for them. They did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, but I look at the West. You get past Denver and like maybe Memphis. I don't know if there's really a good team in the West. What are like 5 teams above 500? I just don't see a lot of good teams right now. So it's like we can say if they're a good team, they should win the next 2. But if they lost one of them, I wouldn't be like shocked. I mean, there's a lot of just average teams right now, whether it be injuries or just roster, whatever the case may be. I've never seen so many teams around 500, in January. And they're all, it's all, from like 6 on down. You could, go from a hat some nights. Okay, one night, OKC goes out there and destroys, Boston. And one night, Minnesota might look good. The Lakers can go out there and beat Denver. Then one night, or they'll beat Miami without LeBron, but then they'll go out and lose to Indiana. I mean, this is just a weird season.
But
so
I think the real part of that story, at least for us, is the Kings aren't one of those teams. Like, they've been at 5th and they're just kind of hanging out there mainly because no one else can get their stuff together. So even though they haven't been excelling lately, because the Clippers have lost 6 straight, the Phoenix Suns have lost 6 straight, they've been able to stay right there amongst those 5 teams that are above 500 that you just mentioned.
Yeah, they're doing what they're supposed to. They're, hanging in there. And like I said, all the wins matter. People talk about that game doesn't matter here or there. You get to April and you're 2 games out, you start going, man, imagine if we didn't lose that one game right there that we should have won. So they all matter. They got to keep piling them up, best they can. And then when, maybe when the Warriors, starting tonight, get Steph back, or as Phoenix gets healthy, now they've got to chase you. And that puts more pressure on them. Maybe there aren't those games where they can give guys nights off and those type of things. So they got to win every game they can at this point. And I thought the losses last week, especially the Lakers one, was a bad, you let a team without AD shoot like that against you. You let a team score 134 that made 9 threes and none in the second half. That's like sick defense. I don't know how you do that in today's NBA.
Hey, what's your what was your thought about this whole, Chimezie Metu getting to play and and playing these bench guys or not playing them or whatever? Did you look at it, as Mike Brown needs to get back to playing those guys earlier in the season, or you kind of go with what it seemed like the message was before. Hey, you either get it done when you get in there or you don't play. Like, how do you think, that has been handled?
I mean, I generally have liked how Mike's handled things. Just generally keeping everybody ready. Some nights a guy might work better than others, but I like Mezzi maybe more than other people do in this term. Like I know we said on the podcast, this team needs as many guys who play with an edge as possible. Preferably guys above 6'3" who can play with an edge. You know, for I like what Davion and TD and those guys, but you need a guy who's at least near the rim with an attitude. And Mezzi has that. And with Rashawn being in and out the lineup, if you're going to give somebody some minutes, I have no problem with Mezzi getting those minutes. And he got to wear the chain last night, and I think if he plays more, he'll get that chain more. I just like what he does for them because he's got length, he's athletic, he can he gives you good effort on defense, and like I said, I like that he plays with a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
We've got tickets to see the Sacramento Kings take on Toronto coming up on the 25th. We've got those tickets for you right now. Caller number 3, 916-909-1320. The Sacramento Kings take on Toronto with the Golden One Center, January 25th. Caller number 3 right now, 916-909-1320. Jason Jones.
That's the Maple Leafs, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
Sure.
Yep. Are you playing hurt today?
A little bit. I'm better than I was last night. Kids have spent the last month getting me sick.
Oh.
So I mean, my voice is kind of going in and out. I've been, walking around with cough drops, taking naps. It's kind of like being a kid again, taking these naps and whatnot. But I mean, my previous bout with this, whatever the kids have been bringing, was way worse. So I mean, I'm hanging in. Hopefully, my voice and everything will get back to normal next couple of days. And my kids think it's funny because I can't really yell at them or anything.
So they got free reign over at the house. You mentioned you like what Mike has done for the most part this season. So are you okay with the way he rotates players and with the idea that, I mean, Chimezie is the latest example. We hadn't seen Chimezie in weeks, and it's kind of, Terrence Davis now has been out of the lineup quite a bit. He got a little action in the last 2 games, but he seems to have kind of fallen out of place. Like, are you good with that line of coaching? Do you think that's an effective line of coaching?
It can be, as long as you're winning. And I think they haven't had like a 6-game losing streak where you're going to start saying, see, you need to go back to doing this, this, and this. Outside of the first 4 games of the year, and then he went ahead and made the switch and put Keegan in the starting lineup, which I think all of us thought Keegan was going to be starting, as soon as he was ready to go. But I think, you got your starters, and you got Malik, you got Davion. And I would like it if you could say you knew for sure the next 2 would be whoever's going to be TD. I like TD too. So I would like to see him get consistent minutes as well. But Mike is big on kind of mix and matching, and if you're not going to play Rashawn as your backup center, if you're not going to use Alex Lynn, if you're not going to, let Kata learn on the job, I have got no problem with just rolling with Mezzi, and you just play small when you take Sabonis out. But like I said, they're 21-18, so in a Western Conference where a lot of teams are struggling, we can nitpick at it, but I don't have too big of a complaint because I think you got a solid top 7, and then generally you get to the 8th, 9th, 10th guy, those are spot minutes. So I can't really, get up in arms about, even though I would like to see Mezzi and TD play more, I can understand kind of the thinking about, you guys got to stay ready.
Yeah. Hey, why doesn't Harrison Barnes do this every night? The guy's got the skill set. He's got the talent to, maybe not put up 30 on 11 or 13, but I mean,
that's all we're asking. Put up 30 on 11 to 13.
I guess it's the conundrum for his entire career, right? Like, he's got all the tools, all the skill set, but it doesn't happen every night that type of way.
I think in part because Harrison's a very talented glue guy. And he's going to he's Mr. Make the right play. I mean, before Mike arrived as coach, the previous coaches had begged Harrison, please shoot more. We need you to shoot more. But this is not, Harrison's going to make the right, if he doesn't think that's the right play, he's going to pass the ball. I mean, and I think on this team, you can get away with a little bit more because you got more talent. But in previous years, it's like, come on, man, we got what, Mo Harkless and nobody else, man. Please shoot.
Right.
And he's just gonna play, like I said, to me, he's a glue guy, but he's a highly skilled glue guy. So he's gonna do all the right things. He's gonna sacrifice on defense. He's gonna do all the little things. But the thing is, he'll go out and give you 30 like he did last night. You'll go, man, where's that been?
Mm-hmm.
We won't see that again. Probably as soon as I say we won't see it tomorrow, he'll go 40. I know I teased him before about getting close to his career high. I'm like, come on, man. Get to the line, do something.
What is his career high? 36? I feel like 36 is
It's something in the 30s, I believe.
Yeah.
I remember specifically we were in a game on the road, and I said, he's getting it tonight. Come up like a point short.
That's amazing.
He was cooking last night.
Yeah, he was. He definitely was. And so was Malik Monk, man. I think that's one thing that we learned over the last couple of days, Jay, is Malik Monk's value to that bench. Even though the Kings put up 134 points against the Los Angeles Lakers, it absolutely felt like they were missing something. And that something they were missing was Malik Monk. He brings an incredible amount of energy, and he seems to, especially when he's hitting and things are clicking for him, because he gets really, really animated and into everything. He seems to tie that entire second unit together.
Yeah, and you don't have a guy who can duplicate that second unit. You don't have TD's a different type of player. Right. Davion's not going to give you what Malik gives you. And he's a different type of guy off the bench. He's really a starter level talent at that. So when you put him in the game, it's not like you go, oh my God, Kevin's coming out and they're putting Malik in. It's going to be, close our eyes for 7 minutes or whatever. He's going to give you good minutes generally. So, yeah, you definitely missed that on Saturday. And, you get him back. They're going to make threes like they did last night every night. But, I mean, if they're going to make 23 threes a game, go ahead and get the parade ready.
You heard him.
There we go.
You heard the man.
Hey, Jason, we'll get you on a float. You know what I mean? We'll get you on one of these floats.
I'd be kicked off the float immediately. They would see me and say, "There's the LA guy." They try to run me over.
You'd get a float. You've done enough for this team. You get a float. It'd be like one of the last floats, but you'd get a float.
Would I be on a float with who? With George Karl and
Yep.
I'd be with all the former coaches.
Yorgos Papagiannis.
Yeah, Malachi Richardson.
Oh, Malachi.
Just dig up, get me back there with everybody, Scal, get us all back there. Willie Cauley-Stein, all the old coaches. I can be back there. I hang out with Vlade back there too.
Napier would be on the float behind you.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
He'd be on that float by himself. We'll just send that joint through Del Paso Heights.
Then they'll be like, all floats matter.
That float took a wrong turn.
Boy, take a detour.
But
why is it getting on 80? Where is it go? Hold up. Where is it going?
How come all these flights are these floats are purple and gray, and that one's just all black? Just a black float.
Wow. See.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
Hey. Indeed.
Hey, like I said, 5 teams above 500. They're one of them. 21 wins. 20 wins from being 500.
That's what. I don't know if you got a chance to listen, Damien, but I started the countdown. Everybody talking about what the win total is. The countdown is happening now.
I actually caught that.
They're 20 away from 41. Mm-hmm. And then we said, heck, let's just make it 21. The countdown starts now at 21. Let's get over 500. 42 and 40. The countdown is underway. Do the Kings have 21 more wins in them?
I really hope so.
I would think they do.
I really hope so.
Because if they don't, something's going terribly wrong.
Something's gone terrible.
I mean,
that's the thing. It probably hasn't gone terribly wrong. It's just gone wrong because they're only 3 games above 500 now. It's not like
that's
they're
kind of the thing about
well.
it. You know, we talk about how well and how things are going. You look at the standings, like I said, you go, they're like 3 games ahead of like the 10th team or something crazy.
Well, the Kings,
they're like a bad week. But what they've been good at doing is stopping that bad week, like right in the right. You know, don't let like a bad 3-game stretch become a bad 6-game stretch.
Yeah.
They've been really good at shutting those off because look at the Clippers.
Yeah.
The Clippers.
Well, look, for some reason, the Kings just won't play 82 games this year. Why are they like 4 games behind everybody?
Yeah, that's wild.
What's that all about?
I don't know. You know, some conspiracy. We'll get some new schedule that comes out. They'll have 4 games. They'll have 4 games in 3 nights. They'll play the only doubleheader of the season, but it won't be the same team. They'll like bring in one team in the morning.
They'll have to fly to Utah.
Yeah.
Jay, we appreciate. We're gonna let you go take a nap, Jay. We're gonna let you.
Thank you.
Let you get back on your sleep schedule, man. Feel better.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all.
All right, we appreciate you.